If I was to tell you which iconic band is truly the fathers of heavy metal, many people would say Black Sabbath. I mean, when you think about rock and roll, you can't ignore these legends. They kicked off this whole heavy metal thing back in the late 60s, and it was like they flipped a switch. Imagine being in 1968 and you hear that iconic riff from Iron Man or Paranoid for the first time. It's like, whoa, what is this? It's dark, it's gritty, and it's like nothing you've ever heard before. They weren't just a band, they were a revolution. With Ozzy Osbourne, the Prince of Darkness, on vocals, with a voice that could give you chills. Then there's Tony Iommi, the guitar wizard, whose riffs could melt your face off. And let's not forget Geezer Butler, the genius bassist, and then Bill Ward, the powerhouse drummer. Together, they created a sound that we call heavy metal. The sound that was electric and dark. It was like they were channeling something otherworldly. And honestly, they probably were. Dropping albums like Black Sabbath and Master of Reality. These records are basically the blueprint for heavy metal. You've got tracks that are still played today in many concerts by many bands who were influenced by Black Sabbath songs like War Pigs and Sweet Leaf. But hold up, it wasn't all sunshine and rainbows. The band had its fair share of drama. Ozzy's wild lifestyle, the struggles with addiction and alcohol. After replacing Ozzy Osbourne with Ronnie James Dio, they had hits like Heaven and Hell, Die Young, and Mob Rules. Black Sabbath showed that they were still the heavy metal gods, and with Ronnie James Dio, they had achieved a new powerful sound. Life after Ronnie James Dio and Ozzy Osbourne was a big change. In the mid-80s and 90s, Black Sabbath faced some criticism, but they didn't let it stop them, with basically Tony Iommi as the only original member on some of these albums. Black Sabbath had new members coming and going, mostly on lead vocals, but Sabbath kept its music true to the Black Sabbath sound. They released albums that might not have hit the same highs as their classics, but they still had some great songs like Born Again with Ian Gillan. Black Sabbath reunited with Ozzy Osbourne a few times, which included mostly the original lineup. In 2006, the original Mob Rules lineup, which included Ronnie James Dio, Tony Iommi, Geezer Butler, and Vinny Appice on drums replacing Bill Ward, reunited. In 2010, Ronnie James Dio passed away. His voice will be forever linked with Black Sabbath and all the great song with him. Then, after many years of waiting, Black Sabbath released the album 13, which was recorded with the original members. This was the first studio album since 1978. Black Sabbath embarked on the 13 reunion tour, which started on May 19, 2012 till July 4, 2014. Forward to 2009, and the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Finally came calling. After years of waiting, they were inducted. And it was a moment that felt like it was long overdue. I mean, come on! They basically invented heavy metal. The speeches were emotional, the performances were electric, and you could feel the love in the room. It was like the industry finally recognized what we've known all along. Black Sabbath is a cornerstone of rock history. So here we are, decades later, and their influence is still everywhere. New bands cite them as inspirations, and their music is timeless. Black Sabbath didn't just make music. They created a legacy. And that legacy? It's alive and well, and it's going to keep rocking for generations to come. So, let's raise a glass to the legends. Cheers to Black Sabbath.